Good morning, everyone. Today is February 8th, 2024, and this is the appointed time and place of the Bismarck Parking Authority's monthly meeting. And I see that we have a full quorum, all the members are here this morning. Thank you for being here. First item of business would be to consider the minutes of the January 11th, 2024 meeting. Comments, questions, changes, corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes? We'll change.
Move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Same sign. Motion carries. And Jeremy will change the date at the top of the minutes from 2023 to 2024. Not a big deal. Next item on your agenda is the financial statements. Jeremy, is there anything you would like to point out or bring to our attention? Any?
Mr. Chairman, Parking Authority board members, we have first month of the year of 2024. We're sitting pretty well so far, on track for even just 1 month in on total income. And expenses are in line. And item to point out on lease commissions line, that is for the Sanford 5-year renewal. Rocky Gordon Brokerage did facilitate that renewal. And reserve account balance, $1,600,000.
This is 1231. She just got me this.
Got it. Okay.
So that's the new one.
Update on reserve account balance, $1,613,075.51, and ending cash in the checking account balance, $302,850. So we'll be able to move some of that amount into the reserves here this next month. So all total, both accounts, $1,906,623.
Okay, questions, comments, anyone? Any questions on the financials from January? Questions? Hearing and seeing none, what are your wishes? We need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please, Sue.
Josh?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes, that motion carries. Item 3 on the agenda is update on the ramps parking how-to marketing video project. Who wants to take this one first? John, or Jeremy, or Isaac? I see Isaac coming up to the podium. Jake?
I just
Jake?
have the video up
Okay.
here.
Jake's been spearheading this project, so take it away, Jake.
Sure. Yeah, so we were working with the students from the Empower ED programs with the Bismarck Public Schools. A couple of the students had prepared a video for us, and then a few of them were working on editing that video. Unfortunately, a few students graduated. So they're still kind of working to put the final touches on the video. In the meantime, Kate Herzog and I kind of patch together what we have, and we'll play that for you guys for your comments today. So just 1 second here.
The Bismarck parking ramps are safe, easy, and convenient to use. Enter your desired ramp, push the button, and take a ticket. Locate a parking spot and use the stairwells or elevators to enter and exit the building. To exit the ramp, follow all directional signage to a pay station. Follow the prompts on the pay station and insert payment. After your payment is accepted, the arm will raise and you are able to exit the ramps. For more information on the Bismarck parking ramps, visit bismarckparkingauthority.com.
Very nice. Yes, thank you, Kate. We
Yeah.
all recognize the dulcet tones of Kate Herzog. Anybody have any comments or questions? I think we all had a chance to see it online. But hopefully we'll get some views and or generate some more activity or interest or questions. And so are there next steps then?
I think we'll wait to see what we get back from the students, give them a chance to kind of fine tune their video, and maybe we have to amalgamate the two to create a final product, but I think it's useful just to be able to see the pay equipment, the pay station. It's useful to be able to see the inside of a parking ramp for anyone that's never used that before. It would take away a lot of anxiety anyone would have about using our parking ramps, so.
And where at this point is it viewable?
It's only viewable to the people I sent the link to, so it's not publicly available at this point. I think what we would ask for is maybe we could make a motion today, whether we wanted to distribute this video or wait for the students, or maybe we wait another month. It's up to
What are
you
your
guys.
thoughts or wishes? Any thoughts on it? No?
I think we're this close. I mean, we'd probably wait until the student videos came back. I don't think that hurts us. I mean, it doesn't delay anything. But I
Sure.
would say in that time frame, since we haven't had this production previously.
Turn your mic on.
Yeah, I would just say that we would, I would be in favor of waiting in one more month and take a look at what the students' production looks like. Since we haven't had this in production previously, we're not out any time slots. And then Jake, do you have any idea right now, like what lanes of media you're going to try to stream that to, or what is the general thoughts on that?
It could certainly be posted on City of Bismarck social media, I would imagine. We could ask if that's a possibility. Dakota Media, cable access TV, our website, those types of things.
Because I'm not sure, does that fall under a public notice? Do we fall under a public notice opportunity there? Which
Public service
public
announcement?
service announcements?
For the networks, KFYR, KX, possibly? It'd be nice.
It's a good question.
YouTube, of course, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And I think long-term, we could look at having something professionally produced. This was no cost to us, and we did receive a quote for something like this to be produced professionally. And maybe during the warmer season, when it's nice out and the video production, it's a nice time to go and record. We could have something done professionally, something to think about. It's not a major cost, so.
Would there be any benefit to incorporating in the video shots of each ramp? Like an outside view of the ramps, so.
And just one other comment to that. If we could fall under that public service announcement type situation, maybe there's also some acknowledgement of the ADA accessibility. Because I think that's obviously something sometimes that's a little bit more of a queue up, that the ramps are accessible. And maybe just some details on that. I know you have to be a little careful with some of that information as well.
Okay, was this a 30 or a 60 seconds? Yeah, it's
This is
30.
a 60-second
60,
video.
okay,
Yep.
okay.
So there's a little bit of trimming that we could do to fit in some more information. It does get to be pretty tight to fit
Right.
a lot of more information in there, but good feedback. I think both of these are important. The ADA accessibility is really important.
And just a comment on the ADA accessibility. Sometimes rather than producing a shot or creating that opportunity within the visual, there are some logos and certain things that could be pinned from a graphics perspective. And that obviously visually shows that, the ramps are ADA accessible. And I'm not sure a lot more needs to be gone into, in that regard. But at least with some type of symbolism, may identify that from a visual perspective without actually a graphic versus an actual photo.
Really good thoughts.
Yeah, good feedback. Josh, anything? Todd, anything further? Well, thank you, Kate and Jake, for working on that, and let us know if we're going to look at an updated version next month or thereabouts. This could be one of our world's shortest meetings. Is there any other business? Kate, do you have an update for us?
Yeah.
Kind of a light agenda.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, still doing it, Jake. Kate with the Downtowners. I mentioned last time that there is a special assessment district that will be, that you guys probably have a lot of square footage abutting up to, or linear footage. So I don't know if you guys are able to look into that and see what all you have in terms of the assessment. There are a couple things just to mention. We did get an urban roads grant from DOT, and those are grants from DOT that are meant for urban centers and kind of the core parts of the community. One thing that happens when DOT gives you money, as they also like to look at what you're doing, obviously. And so they're looking at some of the signal lights within that area. So you've probably seen that the light on Thayer and 3rd Street has been removed for 90 days as they study, is that signal necessary? And that's a pretty common thing for DOT to do. You know, when they did Mandan, Maine, they wanted to take some signals out. Traffic patterns change, things like that. So we've just let some of our adjacent property owners know, hey, keep track of what you're seeing. Are people having a hard time crossing the street? Same with cross traffic, so that we can get some feedback on that. So if you guys have some, especially for the 3rd and Rosser lot, let us know. And Todd, did you almost get T-boned, or?
I take that corner every night, and it's bad. The visibility is tough because of the parking to the north, so you can't see the cars coming from the north. And coming up the road from the south, if there's parked cars by the jail beers, you can't see anything. So
Okay.
there's gonna be bad accidents there.
Okay.
And I use that road every day to go to my office. So just a comment on that, obviously, to reiterate yours. Yeah, if you're westbound, there's actually a utility box that sits basically blindside to the north. And so if you're going westbound and you're looking to the north, obviously for basically northbound traffic going south, it's really blind. And then, of course, combined with that, because of the curve that comes from the south going north, both sides of that. So you really got to creep out into that intersection, you know? And I think that there will be, I mean, obviously it's a learning curve for some people because there's been a light there for so long. I understand that. But just as a general intersection, I think it'll be somewhat problematic. That's just from my personal experience.
And 3rd Street's it moves faster as well. So, you know, when we talked with, obviously it's not necessarily up to the city. DOT does this as they put money into all projects. You've probably noticed down on, is it Arbor Avenue, kind of by
7th.
They've taken that one out. Again, it's studying if that's a needed control type on that intersection. So, you know, when we talked to Mark Berg here, just to give some feedback, you know, we also will potentially have the budget in redevelopment. And so that's going to create some traffic also on Thayer at some point, you know, in a few years. So we'd probably like to see the light stay, but obviously they're gonna look at it for 90 days, and then, but we'd love some feedback from everybody on just how it's working, or maybe not
It
not
sounded
working.
like two good sources of feedback right here.
Yeah.
But you go on their website and provide that. Jeremy?
Oh,
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Kate, I was just going to comment too. I had a few users of our 3rd Street lot also express concerns that it gets pretty hairy when they're trying to pull out between 4 and 5 p.m. with the traffic on the northbound lane.
right. You rely on some nice person to kind of stop and let you out of that lot a lot of times at 5 o'clock. So,
It's a good point. Would it be appropriate for the body to take a position and send an email or?
right now, I think we're just collecting it from our members, so you could send something to us, but there probably will be a public comment or some
Well, I'm sure
kind
on
of
their
situation,
website.
yeah. And then as that project moves forward, kind of like the one 2 years ago, we usually go to the construction meetings each week just to get an idea of how it's going. Knock on wood, I don't expect it to be kind of the same as the last project. Those are older roads, older infrastructure, trolley tracks. This seems to be maybe a little bit more straightforward in terms of concrete, pavement repair and some things like that.
It'd be faster.
And there might be an opportunity, depending on where you're at and what they're doing on the road, if you want to pull in a big, more water to your building. So if anyone's listening that maybe is in that area and you need a larger service line going in, that might be a good time to talk to the city about maybe pulling that into your building.
And I think all the property owners have been notified, obviously, of the project. We did receive notice, and Jeremy, I can't remember if you circulated that to the full authority?
Yes, I did, just for information purposes, and our range, I think, was within the 124,000, I think, for the
Yeah,
assessments
sounds about
portion.
right.
And is that, sorry, Jeremy, is that for just 3rd and Rosser? Or do you have anything else that abuts that you're getting a special for?
There was the 3 different,
So,
2 of the ramps and I think 3rd Street lot.
got it. So it's 3.
Wasn't,
three
was Fifth and
properties.
Thayer included too? The Fifth Street lot over
I
here?
believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was the
That front side,
four
too.
entities.
Yeah.
Yep. or
This
4 lots.
project is more west and north versus the, the one that was going on. So sort of Third Street and some of the spines that go out of that, and Rosser has some work and stuff too. So just kind of it's going out north and west of where it sort of stopped last time.
So the public comment period is open for 90 days?
The
Or the
DOT
study?
is studying it for 90 days.
Do you know if they receive comments during that time or
I will
after that
ask.
time? Yeah,
Yeah, I'll ask when they would like feedback. They didn't necessarily ask us for feedback. We're going to give feedback.
well, I think that we should consider it as well, as a body, so maybe that's something Jeremy could work on a draft for our next meeting, and we could look at it by email, but, because I hadn't really thought about the Third and Rosser lot and how that's impacted by that traffic flow as well.
We've also got, an open commercial space on, right by Jail Beers. And then obviously there's something that's going to happen at the old Lucky Duck space. So it's probably not as full as it should be or could be soon too. So current conditions, I guess, I wouldn't put a lot of weight in. It's what do we have coming on the pipeline that we're going to need that for in the future. So.
Have you talked to the folks at First Presbyterian Church? Is they're going to be impacted by that as well?
Actually, they reached out to us. So we talked to JL Beers, and obviously Chad Wachter has the Lucky Ducks building. So we sent them some stuff just saying, keep an eye on it, let us know what you're seeing, and
Right.
so we can give them good feedback on that. So just wanted to let you guys know.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Any questions of Kate? Anybody? Thank you, Kate, and the downtowners for all you do. Oh, boy. Any further business? Anybody have any other business? Kyle?
Yeah, just with regards to the space that's on the market, this, one of the questions that I have to bring to the board is, we're starting to get some kind of different inquiries in the marketplace that we haven't had before, which is relative to like pop-up shops. Oftentimes you'd find this type of activity that takes place in a mall, and they'll do seasonal type activities. It could be Christmas, it could be Halloween, it could be a variety of different things. And also a couple of different concepts came to us locally as far as a real estate company with regards to doing some type of retail activity which will be shorter lengths of time and then closed and then open and then closed. Kind of a similar, there's a company in town that's called Real Deals, and they typically kind of groom their customers to come to their locations like on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So wanted to really visit with the board just from general discussion to see if there's any input on it. If we'd be open to looking at some shorter term like pop-up store opportunities in that particular location. And then along with that, we oftentimes get called, because we do handle a number of pieces of real estate in the downtown area, where people want to host like small events, or it may be something involved with, I think maybe you can talk about the one that the Million Cups is taking place on the 402 building. It's not actually the Million Cups, is it? That's part of Giving Hearts. Yeah, Giving Hearts today. And so with that, those types of organizations oftentimes call and will ask us if there's a landlord that would volunteer their space or provide that. We don't have a lot of activity. We've really had no activity on it, what I would consider like offers to take the space or letters of intent. I'm just trying to get some more exposure to it, and something that we could do. It's not a money generator as far as commissionable opportunities, or even probably from the board's perspective, saying that you're making a lot of money by doing some of this. But it does expose the property. It does allow that opportunity for maybe to come and do a pop-up type store. I guess also I'd have to consider management and what their thoughts on that, because there's also a little bit of onboarding and then offboarding as those people come in and come out, and typically they're not long-term type applications.
Jeremy, you have any reaction to that? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think a short-term lease is even better than no lease at this time if it's a good quality tenant to consider. So whatever kind of interest we can get.
Other thoughts or comments? Jake?
Yeah, I like the idea of pop-up shops. Kyle, do you see this as like a 1 month kind of a thing, 2 month? What's the time run on something like that?
Well, we've been approached from two different types of user groups. One is a seasonal group that would be, let's say, looking towards like a Christmas season, right? Where somebody would come in, and they're typically going to come in like 60 days before the Christmas season and try to promote their goods. The other organization right now that I'm talking with that's not in the market, but they're looking for a sourcing opportunity where they would be kind of more like the Real Deals concept. They would be open only a couple days of the week, but they would like to go like a season, right? They would like to maybe go like a 6-month season, and then, you know, they would possibly be out. Or they've even talked about kind of like 30 days on, 30 days off, but then what they would do in the 30 days off would be bring more inventory in there. And that particular organization would be leaning a little bit more towards like home goods. And so that basically they kind of redo their inventory. They're open, they're closed, they're open, they're closed. But it's still not what I would consider to be a traditional long-term, like a 2-year lease or a 3-year lease. And generally speaking, when we're doing deals in the marketplace, most of the time their minimum is 3-year lease. Oftentimes, you know, we'll see tenants want to secure a 5-year lease. This is something we're talking about months, or in some situations, if the space is vacant and somebody contacts us as far as like a daily use, are we just open to that, right? And if we are, you know, is that at the leniency of the management, or, you know, let's say the Giving Hearts group wanted to utilize that space, is that something that, you know, we'd have the leniency to be able to coordinate through management, or does it have to come back to the board for approval? So just general discussion at this point.
I guess the answer to your last question is, historically and typically, between management and the chair, we approve the leases.
Okay.
That's kind of the way that it's run for years and years and years. I'm personally in favor of getting more eyeballs on these spaces, as long as management's comfortable with handling whatever, the entity might be in the event that might be in there.
I think one thing to consider is if you do the short-term pop-up, it's going to be more work on Rocky Gordon and Company, and there should be some compensation considered for that because they're going to be dealing with leases and.
Also, I think something like that, if you're going to format into that type of business, you are correct. It is more management intensive, and there's, that onboarding and leaving. Typically, it's going to be some type of a full service type rent. Maybe there's a rent differentiator for that. If somebody's coming in and looking at something less than 6 months, that rent rate is just a different rate. I guess that's something that can also be discussed and then, brought to the board and approved. We're not actively marketing towards that. The question would become on, we could obviously open that door, or at least through the downtowners, know that that space is available for that type of use and see what kind of position it generates. Not trying to create more work, but I'm also trying to create the opportunity of some revenue basis and possibly somebody that, seeks that spot on a shorter term basis and maybe then would become a longer term basis.
Activity. How long has that space been vacant, Jeremy, roughly?
I think we're like 2 years here in October, so about 1.5 years so far.
So
yeah.
Any activity would be welcome. All right.
So Jeremy, how many square feet do we have there, approximately?
I think we're at like 2,100, 2,200, something like that.
And the spaces, all the utilities are outside the space, like restrooms and common area, that kind of thing. It's got a roll down gate on it, and so it's kind of a shell, if you want to call it that, from that regard. It's not all that difficult as far as somebody being able to come in and set up a merchandising type situation and then pull their stuff back out of there. I think in any of those types of user groups, obviously we're not talking about any type of formal improvements. It's just you take the shell and you see it how it is today and you leave it how it is today, in that regard. But you are right. There is the basis of somebody having to manage that and recognize that when that tenant moves in and also moves out, and there is going to be obviously more traffic with that type of user.
And again, historically, the board hasn't gotten into the weeds of even square foot rents or anything. We've delegated that to management, and I think if we're comfortable giving management that discretion going forward to make those decisions, I don't have any problem with it. Okay, thank you for that. Jeremy, you had something?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, a couple FYI items, and I had a quick look up at the brochure. It's actually 3,700 square feet, so stand corrected. It's a pretty sizable space, but that could work well for pop-up type businesses. Just for the board's information, we do have the Spartan Security Services contract signed, and that goes into effect for March 1. Kurt, with the city fleet manager, we've been working with him on a contract for the new Parking Authority pickup truck service vehicle, and with the contract price for that would be $44,675 last meeting, the board approved up to 60,000. Since this is sole source, it has to go on the consent agenda of the city commission meeting. We didn't have time to get it on next Thursday's meeting, but it'll be for February 27th. We did, just for comparables, we looked at some other local dealerships for comparable vehicles, and through the city fleet purchase program, we actually save a few $1,000s, so it's a good option. And then I did reach out to city finance department just to find out some specifics on how the Paymentus credit card processing option could work, so just still working through some details on that, so nothing to report specifically other than we're just getting the wheels in motion.
Thank you for that. Other business, other questions? Kate?
Jeremy just reminded me, you all maybe wanted us to send out kind of a survey about, using the app or if people want to use a parking app. So we're willing to do that if you have, whatever you'd like to do with that, just let us know.
Wishes, thoughts, desires, comments? Jeremy?
Yep, thank you, Kate. That actually was on my radar. Just haven't had a chance to touch base with you or Daniel to do type of Survey Monkey. We can collaborate on some questions, so I'll reach out to you.
Sounds good. Other business? Anyone? Anyone in the audience? Other business? Okay, if there is no other business and there's no objection, we will stand adjourned until March 14th for our next meeting. Thanks, everybody.